we have got all kinds of yummy goodness on this thing, including the old gasket. We've got the new gasket to put on, so let's get this cleaned up. We hopefully we'll be able to just run right through. I sharpened up my gasket scraper, ran this through the parts cleaner first to get most of the oil and grease out of it. Then we're going to check the holes to make sure that the holes are not convex or concave, depending on your point of view, just to make sure they're flat, and then we'll tap them flat if we have any flat ones. Now, I expect there to be a decent amount on the oil pan because Biggie Rat did say that he resealed this. So this gasket is really thin. It is a metal core gasket. As you can see, it bends. So I'm not so worried about it not coming off so much as I want to get all of that goop off. All of that goop off. All of it. Every bit of it. I guess we can just go ahead and manhandle that gasket. There we go. Bye-bye. And we get all this cleaned off. We'll run it through the parts washer one more time. After we run it through the parts washer again, we will check our holes and make sure that our holes are not concave or convex, that the pan has no bends in it or anything like that. I can already feel as I'm going away or going through, I've got some raised holes. So pardon me, folks. At least it didn't come out the other end, right? Feeling half decent again today, which is a good thing. It is Monday, so thanks to all of the members of the military who so unselfishly gave their lives to keep our freedoms. I personally did not have any family members lost to any wars. I know there's a lot of people out there that have, and although I do not know of your grief firsthand, I know what it's like to lose someone. So my biggest thanks. I did serve 8 years myself in the Navy, and not during wartime. As a machinery repairman, took care of fixing stuff, believe it or not. Wow, there's a lot on there. A whole lot on there. And I'm gonna wire brush this too before I put it back over in the parts cleaner. I think there's just tons and tons of it here. I won't put you guys through the pain of that because that'll be really noisy, but you get the idea. I am going to continue cleaning that, which is going to take a little while. We'll get that surface cleaned up and prepped, and then I'll dimple these back down where they need to be so that they're not protruding up and preventing us from getting a good seal. So let me continue cleaning. I'm not going to put you through the pain of it. We'll see you when it's done. Alright, we got her all cleaned up. Looking good. Looking good on the front and the back. So, are we ready to put it back together? No, not yet. As with any gasket mating surface, your mating surfaces need to be flat. So this is the bottom of the pan down here. That's the top of the pan. These are the sides. There are two side girders that go on. These two thick pieces of steel here. They have to be cleaned up yet, so I won't get them too close to the mess, or to the clean. Won't get the mess too close to the clean. We have to make sure that everything's straight and level. All right, meaning one, that the holes are not puckered up this way, and that these surfaces are flat. So we're just going to use machinist scale. It's got a flat enough edge for what we're doing here. It's not like I have to stick it on a stone and do all that. So first thing I want to do is show you right down here. This is the, again, bottom of the oil pan. All right, now not only are these holes, these 4 holes here, they've been way over tightened, and there's proof. The paint has been worn off of them. Okay, those 4 have just been tightened way too tight. Fortunately, none of those bolts were broken, but it was still leaking out of there, understandably so. But let's see if it is level side to side, not concerning ourselves with these holes being puckered upright. So I'm going to turn it around for you here and get it in as good an angle as I can. Let's see. Get it. What I'm going to do is lay this across and shine a flashlight under it. Again, this is the bottom. There's your drain hole. This is the bottom of the pan. Ready? How much light do you see? No light down here. Trying to get it off the holes there. Okay, there we go. Ready? See all that light? That pan is bent. Not only are the holes puckered, but the pan itself is bent. So we're going to have to straighten the pan out. Now let's take a look at just the bolt holes. We'll set it right behind on this edge right here. This is the top of the pan. That's the bottom of the pan. And we are behind the holes. Ready? Let's take a look. Any light? Any light? Any light? Any light? We start seeing light. The pan is also bent up here. It's bent on this corner and it's bent on this corner. So we have 2 bends to contend with. Now let's look at the bolt holes themselves. We'll lay this right on top of the bolt holes and see how much light we have come through. See a little bit of light there, not so much there. Got a little bit of light there and a lot of light down here. So these holes need to be knocked down just a little bit. Top side, and I can just run my finger across and feel it, but we'll do the same thing here. A little bit of light. That's right on top of the holes. And nothing down here. And we throw the flashlight across the room. But let's get back on this side. Now, this side apparently was not leaking because this side is good until you get right to the bitter end right here. But remember, the bottom of this pan is bent. And how it is bent, it's both corners here and here are just laid down a little bit. Okay, so if I was to put this right in the center and strike a light through it, you would see light here and light here. The bend is more pronounced here, and then we have another bend up at the top. So I'm going to work on straightening that out. At the same time, I'm going to first deburr these holes some people may say, dude, that's overkill, it's just an oil pan. I don't want it to leak again. So it's not just an oil pan. It doesn't matter if it's a job for me or if it's a job, well, okay, I'll take it back. A job for me, I'll cut corners. I won't cut important corners. Like the head that I rebuilt instead of replacing on Winnie the Pooh, which is still alive, by the way. I just wanted to see if that valve guide would stay in place. Going on 3 years, it is still staying in place. All right, let me get to work on this. This is going to Miss Zippo. It is for the Cub Cadet, but that doesn't, it does matter more with her than it does with my own stuff. So I've got a bunch of burrs to get rid of here, which I'm just going to flap disc down and just smooth. Then I'll be able to strike a level across a little bit better, because those burrs are giving me a little bit of a false reading, and I can feel burrs on about half the holes. So I just want to get those burrs off of there. We'll get the burrs off, straighten the pan out, get these two corners moved back up where they're supposed to be so that we're good and level across here, and then get this one corner straightened out. And we'll come back and see how level it is after that. So stay tuned. Now you guys can see I'm just barely feathering them, and they're also, I'll bring the camera, or I'll bring this a little closer to the camera. I've just got 3 more to do here. You'll see I'm just really lightly feathering these. And that's also it's doing 2 things for me. The paint is acting kind of like a guide coat. It's letting me know high and low spots. So I'll explain in just a second. Noise alert, just for these 3 right here. Alright, there we go. Hang on just a second, guys, got a call. Well, I'm always getting phone calls. But anyway, I will come back here and be a second for you and show you what each of these means. You can read them. So give me just a minute. Alright, now let's talk about what these holes are telling us, okay? If you look at these that are fairly shallow, they don't have a really big footprint, those are ones that are puckered. I'm sorry, those are the ones that are puckered up. The ones that are spread out pretty good, because I had the same amount of pressure and tension on them all. So this one needs knocked down just a little. This one needs knocked down a little on that one, but we know we've got a bent corner here. This one needs knocked down a little. There's nice even pressure on both sides. You guys saw me do 3 of the holes here. So nice and flat here, nice, but you can just tell by looking. It's puckered up on that side just a little bit. It tells me which ones I need to knock down and square off. Now, if I put the straight edge on again, we'll get down here at a decent level. This is the good side, by the way. The bad side's on the other side. But you can see, pretty close to level. That corner right there drops off just a little bit. You can see the gap between it there, okay? And a little bit of a gap here. But it gives me a good indication of what I need to do before I straighten it out, is just to take those burrs off. So it is actually after 6 p.m. on Memorial Day, so this will probably come out a day late. It'll come out tomorrow on Tuesday, but we're going to stop here. I will get this pan straightened out, and it's real heavy gauge steel, so I'm not going to be heating it up. I'm just going to be using wood blocks and this vise to straighten it out. I'll post this video as soon as I can, and then you guys let me know if you want to see me straighten this pan out. If you're not too worried about it, then say don't worry about it, Zip, just get her done. Then I'll just get her done. And we have gotten started over here, just so you know. We got this surface, you can see how it's dull. This is the surface that's going to have the Honda Bond on it, which is sitting right here. And I've got my 2 spatulas. Nice even coat's the best thing. Only has a 1 minute set time, so you just let it set up for 1 minute, you pop them together, okay? This gasket here is in good shape. I'm not worried about that gasket. I cleaned all these surfaces here, got all of the goobers and all of the massive amounts of, well, it's all over the place down here. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's just, this stuff's everywhere. Bathroom caulk. Awesome. Yeah, there's it. Look at it. You see it? It's just, it is all over the place. There's a real big piece right there. But we got everything cleaned off there. We've already gotten everything wiped down with mineral spirits, and plenty of time to dry. No worries about any oil getting on it. I'll give it a quick wipe again before I seal this plate to the back, but I can't put this plate on. I had started and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta take care of that oil pan first. I gotta check it out. So this is good and flat, and it's gonna mount just fine. Also, I need to source a few of these bolts, so I'll be going through my stash of bolts, make sure I have enough for all the holes. I have already run taps through to make sure that I don't have any stripped, none that I have to either helicoil or oversize, and all that's well and good. So yeah, we're finally getting this buttoned up. So you guys can look for this one either Wednesday or Thursday, hopefully, permitting. Then once we get the button backed up and get all of the fluid back in it and get the U-bolts back on to where the rear end is secure, and once I get my pressure washer back, I'm going to go ahead and clean everything so that I can, after I Honda Bond and get everything reassembled, I'm going to power wash everything and make sure that I don't have any leaks elsewhere. I've got a lot of accumulation up here. My guess is that's just from the pour job done here, the wheel flipping oil up all over everywhere. Just, yeah, but I just want to make sure I don't have any issues up here that I have to tend to before buttoning this back up and putting the seat pan and everything back on. So that's where we're at. You guys wanted to see what the inside looks like. I haven't really even given you a good look at that, have I? Obviously, this is your pump. We have the hydraulic deck control cylinder here with the lines going to it. Then we have lines going to the front for the power steering. And we have the lines coming into this lever, proportioning valve for up and down on raising and lowering the deck. And let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, and we have the hard line going down and into the bottom to pull hydraulic fluid back up right by the filter. And we'll be replacing that filter also, which I haven't picked up yet. I need to get that picked up. But these are the big U-bolts that go and hold the axle in place. You can see, super beefy. And then there are 2 gusset plates that hold the oil pan and that back pan on. And they are here. They don't look too thick there. If you turn them on their side, they are a full 5/16 inches thick. And I have to make sure those are dead straight, get those cleaned up as well. Once we get all of that done, get everything cleaned up, everything straight, everything flat, everything prepped, get the Honda Bond on, get everything buttoned back up. Only has a 1 minute set time, so we'll do the 1 minute set time on the Honda Bond, get everything bolted down good and tight, leave it without oil for Oh, we'll leave it overnight without oil, and I'll put oil in it the following day along with the new oil filter, and then we'll fill her back up and run it out and see if we have any leaks. Hopefully, with all of the work that I'm going through, we won't have. So that's it. Let's go close this one out. I promise you guys I will be on the next one. I know it's been a long time in coming for the Cub Cadet. And let's go ahead and just close out this video with an ice cold start of the Craftsman. Let's see if this thing wants to start. I'll tell you, this thing's pretty dependable, so my guess is that it's going to start. I have a lot of moisture up here. I don't know what all that is. What is all that? It's crazy. What's all this moisture? It's just water. Got a greenhouse effect working over here. Okay. Let's give her some choke. A little bit of throttle. Belt's gonna spin. I still haven't tightened the belt up yet. So, are we in neutral? We are in neutral. Ready? Fires up every time. I dig it. Good enough for me, and I hope good enough for you. I promise you guys I will see all of you on the next one. It's your friendly neighborhood Zippo. Later. I'm out of here.